Hello, everybody. Ayvaunn Penn here, founder of blackandmakingitedu.com. I am so happy to bring you greetings on this. Oh my gosh, what is today? What is today? On this Friday. Oh my goodness, I hope your week has been awesome and I hope that you are entering into a relaxing weekend. I'm going to give people a minute to come into the room as we're getting started. Today, I am going to talk to you about something that I've been kind of dealing with as of late, how to stay positive when everything is going wrong. I mean, absolutely everything. So as you're coming in, please do say hi, give a like, give a thumbs up, and let me know where you are viewing from. I love to hear from you, and please do join in the conversation in the comment section, and let this be a two-way conversation. So the first, as you know, I put all of my key points for the day in the description so that you can reference it later and so your friends can see it readily when you share this information with whoever needs to hear it. Okay, all right, let's get real here. So I am what is considered a millennial, and all over my social media, people talk about how my generation is screwed. My generation is getting the short leg, the short end of the stick, and how we are just, we've got all the student loan debt. It's hard to get a job. You go to school, you think you're doing everything that you need to do to get to where you need to be. Little point here, this is not an excuse to not get your education, because at the end of the day, the more you know, the better off you are. And if you don't know anything, you can't go out into the world and make money. So don't take this as an excuse that you don't need education, okay? But at the same time, back in the day, our elders, our aunts, uncles, grandmother, grandfather, some of them didn't even go to college, and they go out into the world and they get these jobs that support them and their families. They were able to have kids and support them, all of this wonderful stuff. And then we, the youngins here, the new arrivals to the crew on Earth, are like, wow, that is just not happening for us right now. The other day, I had a breaking point. I was on the phone with my school. They were saying I owed this, and that I didn't know where it came from. I was like, look, I was not allowed to graduate until my account was cleared. What are you talking about? Then, I have my own businesses. I am a businesswoman. I have my own businesses. I have two, keeping up with all of those dates and those records and avoiding penalties there for you got to file every quarter, and all of this just mounted up in one day. And then, I got a letter for something that I applied for, and it was a no. And I just reached my breaking point, and I said, God, why did I wake up today? I don't want to wake up sweating and hustling every single day. I was feeling low, ladies. I was feeling low. And how many of you have ever felt low? Like you woke up that morning, everything was just wrong. Everything, you feel like you are up against every single wall possible, and impossible to climb out of, financial woes and all of that. Just, it's like you just can't win for losing. Well, ladies, I want to remind you what God whispered into my spirit that day, and that is, look at everything that's going right. It seems absolutely simple. People say it all the time. It can seem cliche, but ladies, it is so important that when you look around and it looks like the house you're standing in is on fire, and that everything is on fire, don't forget things like, wow, I have my health. I know, I just witnessed my grandfather pass away. Like, I was literally in the room with him when he passed away. It's important for us to keep our health in check. It's important for us to be mindful of what we are putting in our bodies so that we don't have a terrible end to our life. But, looking at that, it makes you think of simple things. God, I thank you my kidneys work. I thank you that I can wake up. I thank you I have my right mind. These are things to remember when it looks like everything is going wrong. Realize, at least I have this roof over my head. There is someone who doesn't have a home. At least I have clothes on my back. There is someone who doesn't have clothes. At least I have food to put in my mouth. There is someone that is hungry. And, and think about the accomplishments you have in your life. Even if you are at a point where you are frustrated, you are, starting your own business doesn't kick into gear right away. So, you could be thinking, wow, I'm trying to do my thing. I've got all this knowledge. Miss Barbara Collins, yes, my Lord, we're right here. I'm right here with you. You think I've done all this work. I've run through, I've gotten all of my degrees. I've gotten all my badges society has asked me to get. The world won't give me a job, so I'm making one for myself. I'm trying to do my thing. And don't forget those victories. Even when you are working on your business and you're going, wow, there's a lot of red. I'm doing what I can. Don't forget that you have the knowledge to be where you are. Don't forget, thank God that I had the opportunity to go to school and learn. Or if so, for some of you who perhaps may not have gone to school, but you have a trade that, thank God that I have this skill, that I have the opportunity to sell. Look at what you do have and thank God for it. And get creative. Guys, we've got to get creative to survive in this world now. We've got to look at, most of the opportunities I have had, as I have shared with you, are not ones that were advertised, but ones that I had to go after myself. And what helped me to go after those things? One, motivation of, oh my gosh, the world is crumbling around me. and if no one else will save me, I will save myself. But also realizing, look at the skills that you have, look at what you have to offer, and go look and see who you can offer that to and offer it, and things may start coming through for you. Okay, so now I'm getting a little off track. So let me get back to my notes over here. The biggest thing is, don't cry about what's going wrong. That can be hard, guys. The other day I cried. I'm not gonna lie, I cried most of the day. And sometimes you just have to let it out. You have to release. But once you let it out, once you cry it out, once you release, once you call a friend and tell them everything that you've got to get off of your chest, you've got to stop crying, look at where you are, and start calculating how you're going to get out, because tears don't wash problems away. Tears blind your eyesight to see what you need to do next. So cry, get it out. I know I just said don't cry. I should have made that point, don't cry forever. Give yourself a minute to cry. It's good, it feels good. And then you have to say, point number 2, look at where you are and what you can do to keep the bad things from happening again. If you're looking at, I realized I told you guys the other day to make a calendar for important dates. I realized there are some more things I need to put on my calendar so that I can keep up with those things. It can be really easy when we are upset, when we feel like everything is going wrong, to want to blame everyone around us. Who can we aim at? Who can we take down for why we're in the position we're in? And here's the hard thing. When it comes to looking at how are we going to prevent ourselves from being in this situation again, we have to start looking inward. It's not always what someone else has done. It's, we can't control what other people do. I'm not going to say that sometimes what other people do does not impact us and it's not fair and we want to be upset, but we can't sit around waiting on, they're the reason I got here, and let me just go take them out. No, you can't control them, but you can control you and how you interact with that person or that situation or that company or whatever, and say, you know what, these are things I can do in the future to make sure I don't end up here again. Let me not run in a circle. Let me figure out how to break this circle and make sure that I'm moving forward and not just going round and round and round. So yes, the third part is what I just explained, and that's owning your part of responsibility for whatever is going wrong in your life. Owning it. Other people can mess up, but there are certain precautions you can take to make sure that the other person and other people from, let me phrase that again. There are steps that you can take to make sure that should someone commit an act against you in the same way, what you can do to buffer that. Okay, what can I do to keep this from happening again? Have I done something to put me here? That's the biggest question to ask. Did I read everything thoroughly? You know, when I entered into this business agreement, did I read everything carefully? Did I speed through and just sign things and go, oh, this is great? Or did I take time to read that fine print and realize, oh, wow, whereas there are great things that come with this, they may own a part of me, you know, or maybe, you know, if something were to go wrong in this business relationship, this is how they're saying this will go down in terms of lawyer fees and this and that. And you need to read that, understand what it's saying before you sign off on a piece of paper. This goes in professional life. This goes in school. Just Wednesday, I talked about reading your class syllabus if you are a student. It's these kinds of things that, you know, if an instructor says, oh, wow, you have lost 20% of your grade, and you say, well, why? I did all my homework. And they said, well, because 20% of your grade was attendance, and you didn't read that part of your syllabus, and now you're upset. And it's like, you just took down my grade. You ruined my grade because I didn't come to class. And it's like, well, no, you should have read this. So we have to ask ourselves, what have we done to get ourselves into the mess we are in, and own that. It is hard. It doesn't feel good. When I stop to ask myself that question, I kind of cringe a little bit. I think, oh, I don't want to ask because I know there's something that I have ownership in and I don't want to face it, but you will be better for facing it. You will be better for asking yourself, what did I do to get here? And being honest with yourself with what that answer is, and it will help to propel you into your future. And then lastly, this point I kind of touched on as well. Remember, Barbara, you're welcome. I'm glad that this is helpful for you. I was just here a few days ago. So I'm glad that my dark place is helping to pull you out of your dark place. So yes, the last thing I was saying, remember things that are going right. That's, you know, we talked about, don't cry too long about the situation, you know, cry a little bit, then snap out of it and start thinking, what can I do to prevent this in the future? What part do I own and where I'm at? And then the last thing is, and this will make you feel really good, do think about what you've done right in your life. Think about the person you did something nice for. Small, but you made a difference in their life, and it was a good reason for you to wake up that day. The other day, I just told you before, I really did wonder. I was like, God, everything, so much has gone wrong today. Why? And, you know, I never believe in, you know, I thank God for every day I get to see. So when I ask that, take that with a grain of salt. I do not contemplate suicide or any of that thing, and don't you do it either, because God put you on this earth for a purpose, and whatever you are going through is but a season. It will pass. It is not worth taking your life over a bad day. It is really not worth it. No. There are hotlines and everything you can call, look up on Google, all of that, places, churches, counseling centers you can go to if you are feeling like the world is too heavy on your shoulders. But I do know what it is to just feel hopeless and feel despair. And then God just started talking to me and saying, you know what? Think about the fact that you know, you have your undergraduate degree, you have your master's, you have your MFA, and this is not a bragging line. This is, don't forget, it can feel like those things are worthless sometimes when you're in the world hustling and trying to do what you need to do, and it feels like nothing is happening. So again, that's not a brag line right there. What that is don't forget that even though it feels like that's not worth it right now, it is worth it. It will pay off. You are taking the steps you are taking towards your future. be grateful for those things. Be grateful that you overcame those challenges. Think about other challenges that you have overcome and that you can say, yes, I am here today and I am strong and I am better for it. And also think about the fact that just like right now, I'm telling you a little piece of me, a little personal piece of me of how I was feeling. And now I'm here using that to motivate you. I've made it over that hump. I'm continuing my plot, my trek. There are good things in my future. I have an interview coming up soon that I'm really excited about, second round. So it's like, don't forget those things. Oh, nice. And as we're talking, someone is answering me about a business proposal I made. Hey, thank you, Jesus. Okay. God is good, guys. God is good. And out of all of this, you may or may not be a believer, you may or not be a Christian, but I believe a part of being Black and making it is keeping God first. That's just me. That's been a part of my secret sauce for all the many great opportunities that I have had thus far. I have allowed God to guide me and take me where I need to go. And in following that and continuing to follow that, don't take a time of despair to mean that suddenly you've taken a wrong turn. Sometimes it's time to wait. Sometimes God is still cooking something for you and it's not quite ready yet. I'll give you a little short story because there was one other time in my life where I felt in extreme, immense despair. So ladies, some of you know, if you've been following me, that I am a theater artist. And when I first tapped into, when I'm not doing tutoring and coaching and all of those things in speaking and in English and writing, I am a theater artist and on the stage. Or I'm writing or I'm directing or acting or composing music and all of those things. So when I first tapped into theater, however, there is something called ERTA, and those are auditions for graduate schools for theater that are in the North. And I learned about these auditions. I learned that they are a part of the process for aspiring theater artists. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go out for this. And I did. At that time, there were no plan Bs. My life was feeling like it was at a bottom. My parents had just divorced. The money was not flowing the way it used to. And I was fresh out of undergrad and I was applying for work, not getting anything. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try this and see what happens. So I prepared, I equipped, I had coaches, I studied, I did everything I needed to do. My mother and I flew out to Chicago and I had all the hopes in the world and thinking that this has to work, because if it doesn't work, I don't have anything else. If this doesn't work, I am destitute. Frankly, I want to further my education, but let's keep it real, self. This is also a way that you are sustaining yourself, having a place to stay, food to eat, and not in only continuing your studies, but keeping you off the street, okay? Keeping you off the street. So I fly to these auditions. There's round 1 and round 2. I make it past round 1 and I breathe. Oh, thank God I don't suck. Thank God I don't suck. So I make it to the next round where I get to be seen by the representatives from these northern schools. And I have some positive interactions. I do my thing. And guess what? I didn't get a single call back. I was devastated. Absolutely devastated. I was broken. I cried all the way from that day to the flight back to my home, leaving Chicago. I cried days after. My mother walked into, I was in her room on the floor, bawling my eyes out. Oh my gosh, it's about to make me emotional again, going back to that place. But I thought that there was nothing else. She said, oh my goodness, do I need to take you to counseling? And, I said, no, I don't need that. But I thought everything was lost and gone. I thought everything was gone. Gone. I was like, I have nothing else. But this is what I'm saying to you. a moment of despair is not the end. Sometimes it's God rerouting you to where you need to go, and sometimes it's a wait. For me, it was a wait. I am rerouting you to somewhere better that I need you to be and that I need you to go. So, what happened now? My mom said, have you ever thought about, I'm representing today, Louisiana Tech. Have you thought about seeing if they have a theater program? You should check it out. She said, I wasn't thinking about that. God just dropped that in my spirit. You should just check it out. And I said, I don't want to go there, but I have to do something. So I looked them up. They have a program, and it's late in the game. I'm applying late. I'm applying at the last minute, kind of. And I think, you know what? Let's give this a shot. And I do, and I'm accepted, and I go there. And I also, God is good again, they were out of graduate assistantships to help me pay for my tuition. And I this is how I knew God was guiding me in this direction. I get there, there's two things. There was not housing where I needed it to be, and there were no more assistantships. But I was walking out on faith. I was like, God, this is the door you have opened for me. I prayed, this is where I believe you are leading me. And he continued to bless in that direction. When I was calling the whole time on the road there, all those hours it took to drive from my home state to Louisiana, I was like, please tell me there's a bed that's become available. Tell me there's an apartment that's available. Tell me that something has opened up. And they were saying, no, 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 no. They were probably asking, why is she still calling? Why is she still calling us? We told her no. I get there, ladies, get this. The person who was ultimately my roommate said, I came back and my original roommate just left a note on the bed saying that she was gone. And ladies, gentlemen, if you're watching, that bed became my bed. Look at God. I didn't have one where I needed to be located. God opened that bad boy right up in the face of people saying no. I kept faith. That bed I needed opened up. The second thing, I'm thinking, God, I really need a graduate assistantship. What happens? About a week into school starting, the coordinator of theater calls me into her office and says, it has come to my attention that we have a new opening and we would like to offer it to you. Keep in mind, there were other people who needed an assistantship, but who did they approach? Look at God. Look at how God turned that rough place into wait and let me reroute you to where I need you to be, where you will get what you need to get. So I was in the depths of despair. He opened up, allowed me to get accepted into the tech theater program. I needed a specific place to stay. He opened that up for me. I needed additional money for school. He opened that up for me. Ladies, a rough patch does not mean it is the end. Remember that God could just still be cooking something for you that's not quite ready yet. Remember this. You just heard my story. You just heard my testimony. And ladies, it gets better. I was turning my nose up at little Louisiana Tech. I said, don't nobody think about them when they think about actors and stardom and any of that. They were the best kept secret, guys. Their coordinator of theater was Broadway royalty. Okay, their head of the performing arts program was one of the few fight masters in the whole country. There were like two. He was one of them. If you don't know what a fight master is, whenever you go to an action film and you see all the cool fight moves, that's stage combat. He was one of the few masters of that in the country, still is. And ladies, let me tell you this. I was turning my nose up at Louisiana Tech. It was there that I wrote the pieces that got me the Columbia University Dean's Fellowship into their playwriting program. I was the selected Dean's Fellow at an Ivy League institution. Do you see that turnaround? So I'm here telling you how to stay positive in a negative situation. And I need you to remember, it will pass. Keep doing what you need to do. Keep excelling, keep pushing, keep doing the right thing, keep trusting in God, and He will open up the doors that you need to get to where He created you to go. And no one and nothing can stand in your way. It gets better. As a young, tender 20 something, I'm 28 now, 20 something year old, here I am continuing. I went from depending on some audition, and God was like, I got you, girl. I've got bigger and better things for you. You are going to be assistant director to Golden Globe winner Regina Taylor. You are going to be assistant director to two-time Tony Award-winning actor and director Ruben Santiago Hudson. Girl, I'm going to have you in Tony Award-winning theaters doing your thing. Look at God. Look at God. So now I have graduated and I'm in the hustle. I've got my businesses going. I'm building for me as I look at other opportunities as well. And guess what? I can look back at where God has brought me from, out of my rough patch, out of where I was going, I don't know what's going to happen next, to God blessing, 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 blessing me into my future. And it's just another weight. It's just another rerouting you. I know you're waiting. I know it's hard. I know it looks like the house is on fire, but trust me, I've got the water hose. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's really, you need to look with your spiritual eyes, not your physical ones. I've got you. You are the child of the Most High. I've got you, and I'm taking you to where you need to be. So long as you trust in me and do what I created you to do. Don't let the world stop you from doing it. Keep doing you. Keep being you. Keep being who I created you to be, and I will help you get there. Ladies, that was a little bit longer than I intended to talk today. That may be the longest I've ever spoken to you, but I hope that this is motivation for you. Oh, it's about to make me emotional all over again because this is so real. I hope this pulls you, if you are in a dark place, I hope that this pulls you out of it. And I hope that when you climb out, that you then tell one of your sisters. And when I say sisters, I mean one of your sisters. They don't have to be blood. Tell your brothers, your sisters, your beautiful Black brothers and sisters in the African American community and across. We don't have to keep it all inside. We want to help everybody. But I hope that you don't just pull yourself out. Take this message with you. Share it with whoever needs to hear it. And once you pull yourself out of that dark place, help someone else out. Let them know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Let them know that even though it looks like it's all shot to hell in a handbasket, that it's really not. Okay? I'm going to go before I start crying, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay, I gotta go. So, ladies, I come to you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday here on the Facebook page, I Love Being a Black Woman, at 4:30 p.m. Central. Right here. I'm the founder of blackandmakingitedu.com. If you enjoy getting motivational tips that help students and professionals continue to be Black and making it, subscribe to blackandmakingitedu.com directly. If you are interested in taking part in the well of all the contributors of flynubianqueentv.com, where I am a contributor and I appear there as well, there are people talking about law, business, beauty tips, all of that. That's in the description as well. Be sure to go subscribe there, and you'll not only see me, but you'll see a whole lot of other beautiful Black folks talking about great things. I hope that this will take you into your weekend and into next week. Until I see you next time, be blessed, ladies. Be blessed and know that there is a light at the end of any dark tunnel. Be blessed.